I'm Brian Yampolsky.
And I'm Joe Ashton.
We're the co-owners of Orion Mortgage, and this is the Inside Track. It's still May 2010, and there are still questions from our clients. We're back on the street to ask some of our realtors what they think about some of their questions.
Here they are.
How do you respond when your buyers tell you that they want to use an out-of-state lender?
My first question is always, is it somebody that you have a relationship with, that you've dealt with in the past, who has done mortgage loans for you in the past? Is it somebody who you know, or just somebody who you found online or the Yellow Pages or whatever? And if it's not, then I'm going to do my best to try to get them not only to somebody who is local, but somebody who I know, somebody who I have a relationship with. The lender's going to know what the local market is doing, and an out-of-state lender is going to have no idea what the little niches of Phoenix's market are like. It's not the Phoenix market as a whole. There are pockets all over the place, and overall, I think Phoenix has the name in the lending industry as being a declining market, when in fact there's pockets that are no longer declining. It makes a huge difference that the lender knows the market and can get something done in this market, as opposed to just a generic loan.
I usually respond, I really like my clients to use lenders who I've already had experience with. Mostly because when they bring me their own lenders, a lot of times those lenders are not familiar with how things get done in Arizona. And it is really different from state to state. It truly is. During the big refi craze years ago, I used to have people who would say, oh, I've got a great lender, I want to use this lender. And I'd say, okay, that lender never did anything but a refi. That lender has no clue of what it's like to have a loan ready for a close of escrow date. And it's really frustrating, and you know, maybe 80% of the time we'd end up at the date to close escrow and everybody was in a tizzy because the loan docs weren't where they were supposed to be. So I suggest to them that using somebody who does loans all the time in Arizona for purchases is really the best way to go.
What I tell them is that there are some risks with using an out-of-state lender. We have certain processes in Arizona that are required by law that out-of-state lenders won't know. And so they take a risk in losing the home, that it could fall out of escrow because of something that the lender has done. I have worked with out-of-state lenders, and the first thing I have to do is I have to talk to them, make sure they know what an LSR is, make sure they understand our 3 days prior to close rules. And if they are familiar with all that information and they've guaranteed they've closed Arizona loans, I'll do it. But I really prefer that they use a local lender.
You try to get a feel for the lender. Ultimately, it's the buyer's decision. You would always like the buyer to use the lender that you're familiar with, such as Orion. But you do your primary goal as a realtor is to close a transaction, and if your buyer has a particular relationship with this lender, you try to make that work, all the while focusing them on what the expectations for that buyer should be, and if they don't meet those expectations, maybe we should look elsewhere.
Thank you for checking in for this week's edition of the Inside Track.
If you have any questions about today's question or anything else that's mortgage related, just give us a call at the number on the screen or email us at the email address on the screen, and either Joe or myself will get right back to you. As always, we really appreciate your referrals, and thanks for checking in.
Have a great day and a great summer.